angle my camera down just a little bit more. There we go.
Okay, so we should be live right now on YouTube. Yes. There we go. Okay, so let's get started. So welcome guys here on Zoom. Welcome everyone on YouTube as well. So I'm Miguel, this is Eric. We're both instructors here at the GuitarZoom Academy. And today we're giving this free lesson. So it's a little showcase of what we do daily here at the GuitarZoom Academy. And along with the personalized feedback, and we have lessons on different topics, we have open rooms. And so today we're going to be talking about borrowed chords, and so you can get a glance of what the GuitarZoom Academy is. And if you enjoy the session, we're going to be leaving a link here in the chat. There is on the YouTube chat. So if this is something that interests you, if you want to take your guitar playing to the next level and get feedback from instructor like Eric, like me, like the other instructor that we have here that you might already know, feel free to click on that link, and we'll be happy to have a conversation with you and yeah, get you on board. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about borrowed chords. So what's that? Eric, what's your definition for that when we talk about borrowed chords?
Okay, so my definition would be chords that we would borrow from either, probably most likely, a different key.
Right.
And for the most part, about as far as my theory goes on this is the whole idea of borrowing from a parallel key, or sometimes called parallel modes. Basically, that means, to keep it simple, if we're playing a song in the key of C major, then naturally we can use some of the chords from the minor parallel mode of C minor. So in C major, everything is all natural. We have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and there's minors and diminished, sprinkled throughout those. And the same thing happens in the other keys. C minor, we can take some of those and we'll kind of like lay out. I've got a little thing pulled up here. We can pull up here in just a minute, so we can compare what is in all these different keys, so that we can actually borrow chords from that parallel mode. If we stacked C on top of C minor, we would see the relationship between the chords of both of those keys. And then we could just pick and choose which one of those we wanted to borrow. So for the most part, that's how I kind of see borrowed chords is, whenever, and you hear a lot of this in cinematic music, when you hear a lot of soundtracks and these epic kind of sounds and everything, it's because they're borrowing chords from other keys, or maybe even other modal keys. So I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, for this kind of class, but that's basically how I see it.
Sure. And yeah, I would say not only like cinematic music, but also, like pop music, rock music. It's very common to find at least, one chord here and there. There are some that are more common than others. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, it's a good tool for songwriting. And then also to recognize those chords. Maybe if you're starting to learn about the chords that belong to a key, and you're analyzing one song and you find one chord that doesn't match with the chords of that key, well, probably it's one of these borrowed chords. So it's a chord that belongs to a different tonality, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say we can check that. Do you have a file there to share?
I've got something I just pulled up off the internet here, just to kind of look and see what's going on. So all I did was I did a search on the internet for what's the chords in the key of C minor, because C major is pretty easy. If you're familiar with the kind of formula for keys, first off we have it's major, and then D would be minor, E would be minor, F would be major, G major, A minor, and then we have B diminished. Let's see if we find it here. B diminished, and then back to C. Okay, so what I did, it's a little harder to kind of figure out what the chords of C minor are because of some things that are being flattened and sharpened and all that stuff. So if we started with the 1 on C minor, now the 1 becomes minor. So we have C minor. We have D diminished, or minor 7 flat 5, E flat major, F minor, G minor, A flat major, B flat major, back to C minor. And within those, they sound very nice. They sound very cool. So with this, if we were to take and like stack up C all the way to the end of C again, so we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C minor, D diminished, E flat, and all this stuff, we could kind of like point arrows up between those, and we can kind of like see the parallels between those. Okay, so let's see if I can, I don't know if I can do this or not. Let me see if I can do this. This might be a little easier. C minor, D, I think it's,
No.
I'm just
If
gonna
you want,
go with-
I have it here in the.
Okay, yes, please. It'd be a
I
lot
have
easier
this
for me.
note here.
Be a lot easier
So I
for me
can-
having to do this. So let me go ahead and stop sharing the screen if you can do that.
Let me change this so like this. Can you see
Awesome.
this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Much more more professional than what I can do. Great. Thank
So
you,
yeah,
Michelle.
but
Live
here I
solo.
have exactly what Eric was saying. So here on the top in black, here we have the chords that belong to C major, and here you have the numbers. So that would be kind of like the degree of the scale. So the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and yeah, each chord has a specific type. So it will be major or minor. So we have here in the major, the 1st, the 4th, and the 5th are major. The 2nd, 3rd, and 6th are minor. And the 7th chord is this diminished chord, right? And here in blue, I have, it's the same. So the 1 is C, the 2, D, E, F, G, A, B, but matching the minor structure. So again, we're not going too deep into that today, but that's why we get E flat instead of E, or A flat, B flat, and also the kind of chord change. So the first chord will be C minor. Here we have in the second chord, we have the diminished chord, D diminished, and again, so it's very similar. It's the same kind of chords, but they're kind of shifted. So here we have kind of the chord that we could replace. We can say that. So if we have a progression, for example, if we're playing the 4, an F, we could change that F major for the 4th of the minor key. So instead of playing F major, we'll be playing F minor. And we could do the same with each degree of the scale. We have that relationship. So it's like switching to the minor key for a second, and usually you just come back and keep playing on the key of C major. So for example, maybe we could give an example. What would be kind of your go-to example for this, Eric?
So I think one of the most common is the 4 in switching it to a minor.
Right.
So if I'm in C, actually I just was talking to another guy who's working on a different song by Bob Dylan called "To Make You Feel My Love."
Ah, yeah.
And that uses a 4 minor in it. So
Love that song.
that's
Yeah.
the 4 minor there. So if we go to a 4, a lot of times what happens is we can either substitute that or borrow the chord with an F minor, or we can go straight to it after the 4. And when I'm doing this, I don't think of, okay, I'm going to borrow the chord from C minor. I don't think like that. You know, there's not enough time to think about all switching and converting and translating all this stuff. You just get familiar with what the chords are in the other keys, and also the sound. With me, I didn't know any of this theory stuff when I started. I just did what sounded good to me. And one day, somehow I stumbled upon that 4 minor, and it sounded good going back to a C, kind of maybe in the song or whatever. So a lot of this, for me, comes more by ear than it does theory, but theory helps to understand why that works. So I would say the 4 minor is a good one. So instead of going from the major to the minor, we could substitute, go ahead and put a 4 in there and see what happens. And I'm wondering if going from a C7 to that F4 or that minor would sound good. Almost sounds more, sinister or anything, almost like if you want a dominant 7 to sound better, just go to the major of it first, and then you can come down to that minor 4. But that's one example of borrowing one of the chords. Let's see, what I'm thinking of is like kind of like that 50s, 60s song Crocodile Rock. What if we substitute that 4 for a minor? So the cool thing is you don't have to do that every single time, but it's a nice surprise for the listener if, like, let's just say maybe the last verse, you throw that in there for like a little surprise, so that your ear, maybe after so long in the song, your ear's used to one thing, and all of a sudden you throw something in there like a borrowed chord, all of a sudden the audience is perked back up, and that gives them a second wind to continue listening to what you're doing.
Yeah, that one, the minor 4th, I think it's definitely one of the most used one. I was thinking of Blackbird. Blackbird also has the whole thing. Here's C major, C minor, and then this is in G major, right? So the 4th will be C major, and then continues with that. And
good example.
Yeah, other example that I think is that Radiohead song, Creep.
Yeah.
So it also plays other
Exactly.
chords that I also kind of borrowed for, but it goes to that minor 4th as well.
Yeah, and even that second chord you went to sounded like it wasn't in the key, so that may be a borrowed chord of some kind too.
Exactly. So, and I think that's that kind of chord, like using, for example, the 5 or the dominant chord of the chord that you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
That could also be considered, a borrowed chord, right? So, for example, when you play that C7 to go to F, we could consider also that C7 as a borrowed chord of F. It would be in that case, right?
Yeah.
So,
Another good one is when you take the flatted seventh, so the B flat in this case. So. So in this case, another way to look at this is the 4 of the 4. So if we go to a 4, it's an F. The 4 of that 4 is B flat, which is borrowed from, in this case, C minor. But in this case, I'm not thinking, oh, that's a C minor chord. I'm thinking, okay, what's the 4 of the 4? And sometimes the 5 of the 5, which is the secondary dominant. It's a very common sound. But if we think of that as a borrowed chord, it's pulled from the C minor. It's not substituting another chord, it's actually adding that chord into the key of C major.
That's right.
Another one.
Yeah, that's really funny because that kind of makes you, if you see those chords kind of isolated, it makes you think like the song is in F, right? Because you play kind of like the 4, the 1, and the 5, but it sounds like when you play that C, it sounds like you're home. Like that's the 1.
Exactly. Yeah. Another one, let's see, let me go back to what I was looking at here. Okay, that's not exactly what I'm thinking of there. There's another sound that I hear a lot, and that is, I don't know if this is not borrowed from C minor, but sometimes to go to the root chord, you can go down, if I'm looking at C like this. Well, I guess it is right. Okay, so yeah, it is from C minor. So we got C, B flat, down here to A flat. I'll hear this a lot, and it's going from A flat to B flat to C. So.
Yeah.
So that's A flat from C minor, B flat from C minor, going back to C.
Sounds pretty epic.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And it's funny, a lot of these examples we're using are directly from the parallel key of C minor. And the reason they work so well is because both of these keys use the tonic of C. All of it's revolving around some kind of form of C, whether it be major or minor. So that's why they're so easily interchanged like that. In fact, I think this is what's called modal interchange as well, right, Miguel?
Right, exactly. So yeah, so what Eric was playing there was playing in C major, so playing this chord, right? And then playing the 6 and the 7, that should be A minor, and this B diminished, right? So it will sound. But we're changing this one to this.
That sounds more classical the way you did it.
Right. So it will sound like that. And that's by using these chords.
And another thing too, at the very end of that, what you could do is just resolve it to C minor. So.
Right.
Some people do that too. Instead of like if it's supposed to end on a major or a minor, they'll resolve it to a major sound, and it sounds even more uplifting at the very end of the song.
Right, or the opposite, resolving a minor song to a major. Yeah. Another one that I'm thinking is so we are in C major, is using the third chord and the relative. Well, this the minor key wouldn't be there, the relative minor. So going from here to here, and then, for example, to here.
Ooh, nice. Curious to hear how that sounds.
that's a interesting sound because we're playing the E flat, kind of the note E flat, and when we're thinking of C and you think of the note E flat, that's a minor third, so it kind of takes you to this minor sound, but we're playing a major chord over that E flat, so E flat major. So it's a very interesting sound. And here I live in Argentina. There's a genre that use a lot this kind of modal interchange, you could call it. With that kind of rhythm, using this.
Play that instead of go from C to E flat and then to B flat, because that's what my ear heard when before you went to the G. I was like, wait a minute, this sounds different than I heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Also, yeah.
It's almost like the opposite of what we're doing, going backwards from.
Right.
So you can combine those two, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how people, when they write songs, this is a great way to do it. Just experiment with different sounds, using the parallel keys and different things like that. So very, very interesting stuff. And you could just go on for ages on this. And this is a good way to kind of like, maybe when you hear a song or hear a soundtrack or whatever, figure out the main key it's in. And then when you hear a weird chord come up, find the parallel minor key and see if it's one of those chords. And that's a good way to kind of like reverse engineer or reverse analyze songs, just to get some ear training. I think that's a good ear training exercise too.
Yeah, I was thinking of other examples. I was thinking of that song by the Beatles, Something. Then he plays that C7.
There's a D major instead of a minor, yeah.
And here.
Oh, there you go.
So there he's playing that
B flat. Mm-hmm.
That flat 7 that you talk about. So. It's beautiful, you know that.
Wow, yeah.
Ending.
It's amazing to see how much theory is in a lot of the Beatles stuff. I wonder if they actually had that mindset or how they figured all that out, you know.
Yeah, sometimes you, as you said before, you find this kind of chords just by, playing around with the chords. You know major chords, minor chords. You just try them without thinking that much.
Yeah, and you can always, just for experimenting, instead of having to memorize all these chords that are in a different key, you can use little shortcuts and little mnemonic tricks, like I was talking about using the 4 of the 4 or the 5 of the 5. But you can also, anytime you have a major that you're going to, switch it to minor. It may not even be in the parallel key, but it might sound good. So if I'm going to D in this case, or vice versa, switching it to major. So Miguel went to a D major, which is not in the key of C. In that case, this is what's called the secondary dominant, or the actual dominant chord. So this is a dominant 7. So the dominant, the 5, is actually the G here. The 5 of the 5 is a D major. 5 of 5 is what's known functionally in theory as a secondary dominant. So if we have a dominant chord, we have the dominant that's before that. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on theory and stuff like that, but if you take something that's supposed to be minor in C major, D is supposed to be minor. What if you made it major? E is supposed to be minor. But I'm already thinking of a song that uses a major version. That is Eric Clapton on Unplugged. He played a song called Nobody Knows You When You're Down at... There's an E major. notes. Again, there's an A major instead of an A minor. Then the D minor. Back to A major. And that's the D diminished, or the F sharp diminished. And that could be from something else too, because F sharp diminished isn't in the key of C. So there's a lot of different things happening there. That any kind of weird, weird chord changes that you're not familiar with, you can always go back and analyze. But anytime you have a major in a key, try switching it to minor. Try switching it to diminished. You never know. Like B diminished is in C, which sounds good because it goes straight to the C after that. A lot of times I'll use, instead of a B diminished, I'll switch it to a B minor. So it just sounds better when you're going to, let's just say, I got to get back to it. So I'm going to go probably from the 5. Let's do it again, but now with a B minor. So it's still a B. It's still a note that leads into a C. What if we did B7, a B major? To me, that don't sound as good. So, I mean, you can experiment with your ear and see what sounds good and what doesn't, and then just file that away in your memory for later.
Cool, guys. So, very exciting topic.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions about some of this stuff we've been going over so far?
Cool. So
Colin says he's good.
In the meantime, I want to remind you guys that if you're enjoying this lesson, you're getting as excited as us talking about this. So we have more for you. And I'll be dropping that link again in the chat here in Zoom and also on YouTube. So if you click on that link, it will ask you just a couple of questions to get you know you better about your guitar journey and see if you'll be a good fit for the academy. And so you can schedule a call with us and we can tell you more in detail what do we do here that is very similar to what we're doing right now, plus the personalized feedback aspect of it. We can help you build a practice routine to reach your goals and to work alongside one of the instructors here at the GuitarZoom Academy, like Eric and I. So yeah, just click on that link and we'll be happy to talk with you. So yeah, back to the topic of borrowed chords.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How would you approach improvising or soloing, playing over this kind of thing?
That's interesting. So yeah, I will approach it pretty much the same way. So for example, if we are, let's say we're playing one song that has that C major, that 1, go to F major, 4, plays the minor 4, and let's say back to the 1. So I would think all of this as C major, for example, C major diatonic, and whenever it change to that F minor, I would think to C minor. So for example, okay. Or if you're thinking of for example, the pentatonic, you can also use the minor pentatonic of, for example, of F, or even C.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is the pentatonic for sure, because if you're using minor pentatonic, over C major it just sounds bluesy. Over C minor it sounds, minorish. But the cool thing is, when you're thinking of this, if you have a C, there's an A flat, there's a B flat, so we have the notes of C minor already kind of built into it. So it would work over either. Now, I'm not sure if C major would work over C minor, how that would work, but it does work fairly well with just a minor pentatonic.
So just to kind of to summarize that, so you'll be using C major pentatonic over.
Yeah, I was
over
wondering
the
if
C.
C major pentatonic would work over C when it goes to a C minor key, like it does backwards. You know, it works. C minor works over minor or major, but does major
Right.
work over minor or major? You know,
Exactly, you get that that bluesy sound. Yeah, yeah, because you do have that minor third that probably with the C major wouldn't sound that right.
I'm very curious now. I want to pull up a backing track, see if there's anything in
Yeah.
C. That'll
Let
be a
me see
C
if I
minor,
can
maybe.
create one here real quick.
Okay, you can do that. All right.
C major. Let's do it like this. So we can do. Okay. Major, F minor, and let's say back to C major. Let's see how this sounds. Okay. Figure that. So we have C major.
Yep.
F minor. So for example, just. I'm going to share the screen with you so you can see this. So. I'm just using C major pentatonic. So it will depend on what notes do you target. Now I'm going to try C minor pentatonic, right? For example, I'm just here. Oh, now I know why it's skipping that last measure, because I didn't add the bar.
What are you using to make your backing
This
track?
is iReal. It's called, you can see here at the top, iReal Pro.
Well, it's not showing the top of it. It's called
Yes,
iReal.
let me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't say the name. I can write it in the chat now.
Interesting.
Let's try again. So, for example, now this is how I would approach this. I'll think of C major pentatonic for C and F, and when it goes to F minor, I will think of C minor pentatonic. So that's kind of the same. The first thing I would try, for example. So. For example, so C major pentatonic, still C major, minor, and back to major.
Okay. So about half of the track is major and half the track's minor.
Right.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, so kind of like this, just this bar actually. So here I will go back to C major pentatonic.
Oh, okay.
That's how I will approach this. And what if I go, instead of C minor, maybe to F minor? So. gives like kind of like a more bluesy sound, I think, just with that note.
You know, too, on F minor, if you think about this, another good thing to put in the place of F minor is F diminished, because the diminished chord is a minor chord with a flat 5. So instead of so you might be able to get away with soloing some of the diminished notes from F diminished there too, if you wanted to go a little bit more deep, into that.
It's kind of also what happens in the blues, right? When you have, for example, right?
Yeah.
Over the
Nice.
the 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's true that it's very similar, because if you look, for example, at C7, sorry, I'm playing F7 and an F sharp diminish, it's just one note that changed, right? So instead of F, I'm playing F sharp. So yeah, it's very close.
Yeah.
Cool. So I would like to maybe talk a little bit more about those secondary dominants that are more are also part of these borrowed chords, and yeah, those definitely you can hear them all the time in the song. So basically, within a key, so for example C major, we have the 5 that also usually we can play it like that, so it's a C7, and this is the chord that creates a lot of tension, the most tension, to resolve back to the 1. Right, it has that interval that resolves very nicely to the 1. So this concept of the 5 creating that tension that resolves into the 1, we can apply it to each chord. So again, so let's write it like this. So for C, it will be the G7. Just that will be the chord that naturally occurs in that key. And we can do the same for each chord of the scale. So here would be an A or A7 if you want. You can resolve either to the minor or the major version. Here we'll have B7, we'll have C7, sorry about that. Here we'll have D, E, and well, this one, I guess we won't be using it that much, but maybe this will be F sharp, right? So now, for example, going back to that song, for example, the Beatles songs, Something. There we start with a, you can see that. So we start with a C, right? Well, plays a C major 7, but then it plays a C7. So from this chord, from C, it's going to this one, to a C7, probably to go to resolve to an F, right? And that's exactly what it's doing. So play that C, F, right? So F to, sorry, C to C7 to F. Then it plays this chord, a D7. Then again, if we look at the C major chords, the D should be a D minor, right? But it's playing a a D7. And why? Well, probably because it's going to a G. And that's exactly, again, what it's doing. So G. So again, it's borrowing this D7 from the key of G to go to that G. Before, it was borrowing this C7 from the key of F to go to that F. So every time you are going to any chord, you can throw that 5 before to create more tension and get to that chord. Always, making sure it doesn't have any conflict with the melody, but usually it should work. So we have another way to see it will be, see, this is the 1, this is the 4, and this will be the 5 of the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was playing that D7 that usually we will think it of as a 2, but this is resolving to G, which is the 5 of the 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Resolving to that 5. So that's kind of like the basic idea of using these chords, the 5 of each one of these, and we can also use it to go to one of the minor. Well, if we use it to the minor keys, we might need to adjust some of the chords. So yeah, so for this one works, for this one will work, for this one as well. But for example, here it works this way. And if we want to go this way, we will need to use a B flat 7, just to follow the right interval, right? So for example, okay. So that's kind of interesting sound. Sounds interesting. So the same progression that we were playing before, of C major to E flat, for example, just throwing that 5 before the E flat. Cool. Do we have any questions, guys? Is this clear for you? Feel free to drop them in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself as well and just ask the question. I was thinking of more examples. For example, I was thinking of that D major. We can also think this as C major or A minor, which is basically the same notes. And that D should be D minor if we follow, the notes of the scale, right? But it's playing a D major. And in this case, it's playing that D major, but it's not going, for example, like in the Beatles song, going to G. So using it as a 5 of the next chord. So in this case, it's just like adding a different color, right?
Another song that comes to mind that I would probably suggest borrows a lot of chords is Hotel California. I mean, there's so much going on there. Any kind of
Right.
Spanishy kind of sound like that to me sounds like it's just borrowed chords. A lot of it.
Right. Hotel California. That what key
I
we
think it's
usually
in.
play that?
I think it's in B minor. That just sounds like there's got to be borrowed chords in there somewhere.
Right.
So if in the key of B minor, yeah, just write that out real quick. So we got.
Let's see
So
if I
already
can.
we're starting it, and it's the same composition as what we did with C minor. So it's got minor. I think the next one's diminished, major, minor. You know, just the formula kind of follows the same
Let's see if we
structure.
have the B minor. So then F sharp 7.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Then we got A major,
A major.
E7, E major,
E7.
G, the D, E minor, back to that F sharp 7.
Right. E minor. Right. That's interesting. So yeah. So you can, for example, think this. That's so.
Yeah,
You can just. You can't help it, but.
I know. You got to get right into it.
Yeah. So you could think this as either D major. I would think either D major or B minor, which is again the relatives. And for example, I will think it actually in B minor. So this will be the one, right? So let's do it like this. So I will write here. No, if we think of B minor, we'll have B minor. We'll have that. That will be the one. The 2 will be a C sharp diminish. Then we'll have D major. So this is the 2, the 3. We'll have E minor. Then F sharp, well, minor, yeah, and G and A. So if we go back here, we're playing here B minor, so that's a 1. So we'll have F sharp 7, that
Should be a minor.
should be a minor. So, and again, it's in this context, this will be the 5. So it's playing, what we saw here before of the using the 5, the major 5 to go to that key. So yeah, we could say this is a 5, 7. Now it's playing A, which is actually part of this. 6 will be the 7 chord. This will be the 4. So yeah, we can think this as the, or change. Let's keep the same color. So the 7th. So now we have E7, E major 7.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It should be a minor.
It should be minor.
So we're already borrowing stuff. And immediately my mind goes to, okay, are any of these secondary dominants? Are these 5 of 5s, 5 of 4s? Before I have to locate the actual key it's coming from.
Right. So yeah, whenever I see that, for example, at E7, I think my head is thinking, okay, we're going to A minor or E or A major, kind of like that sound. But here's kind of it's doing the opposite. So you can think that it's playing first the 1, and then it's playing the 5. Right, and here it's kind of doing the same thing. So it's playing G, that here would be the 6, and D, that is the 3rd, but also D is the 5 of G, and E is the 5 of A. So it's doing it kind of in reverse.
It's like they're going backwards, yeah.
Right. And then E minor, which is the 4, and then F7, that F sharp 7, that's the same from the beginning to go back to the B minor.
So I'm automatically thinking, how in the world did they even come up with this song? There's so much going on there,
Yeah.
chords that don't belong in the key.
I don't know. We will have to ask them.
Yeah, where would those be borrowing from then? So bring that chart back up real quick. Another thing I think of is B minor is actually, this is another can of worms, but B minor is actually in the key of D. Because
right.
it's the 6 of D. So we could think of that, and we could say, okay, well, let's go to the key of D, see what happens there. Or we could either do that, or we could go what's in B major. So those are probably the first two places I would tackle. What's the relative major of this minor key, which is D, or what's the parallel of it, which is B major.
Right.
That's probably where I would start. So you got two pathways to go to.
B major.
And then if it's not either of those, then you cross that bridge when you get to it.
But yeah, you think, for example, of the 4 of B, that would be exactly E major. You have B major and F sharp major, which are the two chords that I'm playing. So this F sharp and this E. So it's adding the 7th of the right.
So that's definitely what it's borrowing from then. So that's a really good example in actually, popular music. You've used the Beatles. We've got the Eagles. Bob Dylan, that was another one. To Make You Feel My Love was using the F minor. So really, really good stuff to kind of just go out and analyze a lot of these songs. When they sound like they're just got some weird stuff in them, see if you can dissect them, reverse engineer things.
Yeah, it was actually that one, the Bob Dylan song.
What is that?
That 3rd chord.
Oh, the Bob Dylan.
This one.
Yeah.
That the 3rd chord is already also a borrowed chord, right?
Yeah, B flat.
They're playing the B flat, right? The 5? No. Then the minor 4th. And yeah, I don't know if you play.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great one, about Bob Dylan.
Yeah. Great stuff. It's been a good session, Miguel. I've learned a few new things. Makes me
Yeah,
curious to go down and dissect a few songs myself.
absolutely. So, oh yeah, it's already
I know
time.
it's crazy. It's flown by.
So yeah, guys, if you guys don't have any more questions, we're gonna be dropping that link one more time. So you have them, and we'll be happy to again to talk with you and introduce you to the academy. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed the session, that you learned a couple of new things, and we look forward to the next one. So we're doing these sessions every week, at least twice. So be sure to join the free academy, and if you want more, you have the link with all the information. So yeah, thank you, Eric. Thank
Thanks
you
very much, Guy.
for joining,
Yeah,
and
been a
see you
pleasure.
next time.
See you guys. You have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye bye.